Welcome to the deep dive. Ever been at a party maybe, or in a meeting and you notice something, that really awkward moment? Chances are the really important stuff wasn't actually said out loud. It was all in a look maybe. A quick glance, some, tension in the eyes. Today we're diving into just one English idiom, but it's a really powerful one, jealous looks. We're going to try and figure out exactly why this phrase works so well, how it captures that silent friction, that kind of social envy that words sometimes just miss.
Okay, let's unpack this.
All right.
So first off, what does this specific look actually mean? The sources point towards Indonesian translations like tatapan iri.
Right, an envious gaze.
Or sometimes pendangan cemburu.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here is even with those native terms available, the English phrase jealous looks seems to get used a lot. It's just so concise. It perfectly captures that snapshot moment.
Yeah.
When someone sees another person and they have something desirable, right? Could be success, could be attention, even just general happiness. And that look, it's immediate. It's like the visual proof of wanting what they have. And that leads us right into a really important point, a sort of linguistic nuance here. We need to distinguish between different kinds of jealousy, don't we?
Exactly.
When we use jealous looks, especially in English, it's often not about romantic jealousy, that sort of possessive feeling tied to semburu.
Precisely. The real strength of this idiom, I think, is how it applies to iri, envy. Envy over someone else's wins, their good luck, their status. The phrase itself is just, it's the perfect shortcut. It signals they envy really quickly, really efficiently. It catches the tension in that look, conveying something totally unspoken but very clearly visible.
Okay, so that brings us to its usefulness. Why do we actually need an English idiom for something we can, see? This is where it gets really interesting, I think. It's all about narrative efficiency.
It really is a narrative shortcut. Think about it. When someone writes or says jealous looks, they don't need paragraphs describing tiny facial movements or awkward silences. It just instantly sets the emotional scene. It signals that maybe conflict or resentment simmering under the surface. You often find it popping up in these quite charged social settings. It just immediately flags that silent tension.
Let's look at the examples we have. They show this really well, both in personal life and at work. So first, a social success scenario. When Lisa showed her engagement ring, her friends gave her jealous looks. And just for context, the original Indonesian source phrasing was, saat Lisa menunjukkan cincin pertunangannya, teman-temannya memberikan jealous looks.
Right, and then contrast that with the professional example, career achievement this time. He received jealous looks from his colleagues after being promoted to manager.
Again, the Indonesian parallel was, ia menerima jealous looks dari rekan-rekannya setelah dipromosikan menjadi manager.
And in both cases, you see, it's not really about the thing itself, the ring or the promotion title. It's about the status that comes with it, isn't it? Exactly, the engagement, the step up the ladder.
Yeah, the idiom just nails that quiet sort of competitive friction over circumstance, which really shows why this concise English phrase is, so valuable for describing this specific dynamic.
And if you zoom out a bit, connect this to the bigger picture. The sheer effectiveness of such a short, nonverbal description, it really confirms something fundamental about how we interact. We rely so much on these subtle visual cues, don't we, to communicate our strongest feelings.
Yeah.
Especially feelings like envy, which are, let's be honest, socially awkward to actually say out loud. So the idiom gives linguistic weight to that quiet drama happening just beneath the polite smiles.
So, what does this all mean for you listening? The phrase jealous looks is, I think, a powerful reminder. So much of how we understand social situations isn't about what's said. It's about what we see. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How much of the real story, the true social dynamics in a room, how much would you miss if you didn't pay attention to those fleeting, loaded glances, those nonverbal cues next time you walk into a room? Something to think about. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe.